My check exclusive, we have Dacia. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
So, can you tell us about this Maplewood woman charged after allegedly attempting to bite police officers?
That's a story that Channel 4 News aired about me, I think the day before yesterday.
For what reason?
Well, they aired it like it just happened. This actually was because of an incident that happened in March 15th, Saturday, somewhere around 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. My fiance and I were making a stop at Walmart to get some cash back. Pulling into the lot, we were accosted by a gentleman who was exclaiming that we were trying to hit someone who was near his car. It turns out that there was a woman standing off into our parking space, but we're looking like, yeah, I need to move out the parking space. You see people pulling in. This is a parking lot. The guy's like shouting through the window, all angry, like, "You almost hit my girl, yada yada blah." And I wasn't driving. I was in the passenger seat, and most of the interaction was going on between my fiance and the guy who was shouting into the car. We get into the spot, and he turns the car off, and he's like, "You gonna come in?" I'm like, "They being extra. Let me stay in the car. Let me stay in the car and chill, so they don't do anything crazy. They don't do nothing stupid." He's like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, no big deal." We both have firearms. Missouri's an open carry state. We try to be up on our information. We do open carry firearms against a lot of other people's opinions because, they're like, "Well, it's not the Wild Wild West. You don't need to walk around with your gun on your hip." I'm like, "I'm sorry, but we're a hunted species. We're being killed every 26 hours. It's a brother that's another Trayvon Martin every 26 hours. I don't feel comfortable walking around knowing that I'm not physically trained to defend myself. Not to say that I'm looking to shoot someone. I just want to know that if I'm with my family and something happens, that I can do something about an issue that's a threat to my life and my child's life. And plus, it is different when you purchase a firearm. It is different when you know that you have a huge responsibility. So you have to be responsible. You have to be comfortable carrying it. And that's really was a test to us, to wear them, to be comfortable with them, and for people to be comfortable with us wearing them. Because after about a year, it was like, "I don't know, I'm going to put my gun on my hip and go to the store." That's pretty much what it was. It was like putting on a watch or putting your wallet in your pocket. And so, I had got more comfortable wearing mine a couple months after I got mine, but he started wearing his right away. And that's something that he's been comfortable doing since he's had it. Never had any issues. We bought these firearms last year, at the beginning of last year. He gets out the car, throws the gun into his waistband, goes into the Walmart. I'm sitting in the car, just waiting on him to come out. And I look over and see them looking at me. I'm just like, I don't know, whatever they're talking about. I was hoping they'd get in their car and leave so we could go about our night. We were meeting with some friends at the Cheesecake Factory to have dinner. Like, a totally harmless evening. This is what it just felt like any other day. And without digressing too much, I won't even go into what my day was. But my day was pretty much perfect up till they called the police. When I realized that they called the police, I texted him. I said, "It looks like they may have called the police on us." He texted me back. He said, "Okay, I'm going to hurry up and I'm going to come out." And I was like, "Okay." 30 seconds later, lights just come flashing, and it had to have been at least 4 cars. And I'm like, "Okay, let's see what's going to happen. Let's see what they told the police that we were doing." Because I just was like, we just were sitting in the car. What I just explained to you happened was what happened. I was approached by 3 white male officers on the passenger side. I had my window cracked about 4 inches. I had my seatbelt on. I had my cell phone in my right hand and my hand on my thigh. And the officer closest to the window, he says, "You need to step out of the vehicle." He said just like that. I looked up to the officer and I said, "Officer, why do I have to step out of the vehicle?" And instead of we need to ask you some questions. We need you to get out of the car. Ma'am, would you please step out of the vehicle? He shoves his hand through the window, unlocks the car, yanks the door open, hops in the car, grabs me around my neck in a chokehold. I was showing someone what happened when I was released on bond, showing them how they were handling me. And anybody who was handled like that would immediately be alarmed. I mean, it doesn't matter who it is. I just was like, I didn't know that he could reach into my car window and open my door like that in the first place. So they really already had me like, what's going on? He snatches my phone out of my hand so I can't record anything. And then all these people are standing around watching what's going on. I mean, Walmart shoppers will watch anything happen. And so they're standing there watching this first officer put me in this chokehold, and I'm really just looking like, do you guys not see what's going on? I was not even told what I need to step out of my vehicle for. You know, like, I'm in shock from that, but it just was not making more sense to me as this man is choking me, totally invading my personal space. It's just stranger, like he could have been anybody, and it can be so hard to talk about because it's like every time I tell it, I relive it, and it's just a horrible situation to be in for anybody to be in, especially under this situation. So I'm still looking at the people who are standing around like, do you guys not see what's happening right now? This is not okay. This is excessive force, and I'm barely getting this out because this man has me in a chokehold. And so the second officer looks at the first officer, and they're like, she's causing a scene. I was like, somebody do something. Somebody help me. This is what I'm yelling to the people who are sitting around watching. And nothing's happening. And I'm just like, what is going on? And then he says that I'm causing a scene. I'm like, no, bro, I'm causing a scene. Do you not see what's going on? Like, oh my God. I'm being attacked by the police. Everybody just sitting around watching. This guy grabs me under my face and attempts to shut me up with his hands, like with his grabbing my jaw, like I'm sorry, dog, or I don't know. It just was really confusing to have to sit there, have this man have me in chokehold, have another man jump on me, grab me, and try to get me to stop talking, and then it dawns on me that I'm in my seatbelt. I was not even given a chance to step out of my car. I was not even given a chance to understand what was even happening in the situation, why this was happening to me, and then these officers jump on me, and now I can barely talk. I can barely talk because I got a arm around my neck and another man squeezing my face shut. I'm gasping out that I'm still in my seatbelt when the third officer says, I'm going to taser her. I'm like, wait. No. Please do not tase me. I remember...
You said, please don't tase me?
Yes. I remember so vividly screaming to this officer, please don't tase me. And it just was like everybody agreed to shoot her with the stun gun. The officer who had my face, he let go, he stepped back. The officer who had me in chokehold, this guy releases me from the chokehold, and in the last minute attempt to do whatever they were planning, he pops my seatbelt open, grabs my jacket, rips it in half, and the officer shoots me. It just happened so quick, like within 4 seconds. It was loose, pop, snatch, and then zap. And I'm sitting there being shocked, thinking to myself, like, why am I being shot by a stun gun? How did this happen to me? And looking over at the truck where the two people who had called the police were standing, just like, did they know that this was going to happen when they called the police? Mm-hmm. I'm not the one with the gun. I wasn't even the one with the gun. I couldn't, the whole situation, just still thinking about it, it's hard to really just absorb it except because it's people standing outside right here that could do something, that aren't doing anything. I'm defenseless because my fiance is in Walmart, doesn't even know this is happening. I'm unaware of why I'm even being accosted in the first place. It was something that I could never have imagined have happened to me ever in a million years. It's like a day that wasn't a day in your life. Like, 'cause you can't accept that this fits into everything else that's normal to you. It's crazy. So that lasted for maybe about 10 seconds. And it wasn't so much painful than it was just losing control of your body and going rigid. That's really what it feels like. You can't move your arms around. Everything just goes straight as the electricity goes through you. And once it stops, you kind of are slumped, like your body is still tingling from being electrocuted. And I was lifted out of the car, handcuffed, and put into a squad car. An ambulance was called. My vitals were checked, and then I was taken to St. Mary's Hospital, where I was diagnosed with taser shot before I was given a fit for confinement form to be held at St. Louis County and Maplewood Prison. I got booked into Maplewood, which is why they got that beautiful mugshot. I was booked into Maplewood, held there for maybe 5 or 6 hours, and then taken to St. Louis County, where I posted bond. It was $1,300 for me. Now, we both were arrested. He was arrested as well, and we both were in Maplewood together. We both were taken from Maplewood to St. Louis County, where we both were held, and we both posted bond. His was $1,000, and mine was $1,300. In addition to the bond that we paid to get both of us to get ourselves released, we also had to pay a $2,000 fine on our car when we got it out of the impound. So, I mean, if you can imagine a stay-at-home mom who homeschools 2 children with no income, and a guy who's been working for the state for 6 years, making somewhere between $30,000 to $35,000 a year, our only income, that can hit you pretty hard. And it did. So we're just trying to recover. We're just trying to make sure we can handle, regular household stuff and pay our legal fees, because they're really trying to come at us hard. This here came from the state charges that they're trying to file against me. I left from the St. Louis County Jail with a citation for failure to comply. But yesterday, or the day before yesterday, it was posted on CaseNet that I'm being hit with state charges for a Class C misdemeanor for assault, for allegedly attempting to bite police officer. This story is new to me, because that's exactly what I explained to you. At no point in the whole altercation did my feet ever leave the car to kick anyone. And if you're being attacked by 3 officers, to bite what officers would be to no avail. It really wouldn't have helped the situation at all. If anything, it would have gotten me hit with something other, in addition to the stun gun. That would have given the stun gun justification. But nothing that I did gave any of what they did justification at all. So that's really what blindsided us about the story that was aired about me the night before.
Exactly. So, throughout the case, what has developed so far that you know of?
So far, we have been given the approval by the city to subpoena the videotapes from Walmart from the night. We have not been able to see the tapes just yet, and I have not been able to find any video from that night, surprisingly. Maybe I'm not on the correct social network where they're posting videos now, but I've been trying to consistently check with YouTube to see if anybody's posted anything about what happened that night. It was some people standing outside. It was definitely a woman standing there with her phone recording most of what had occurred. And I mean, if I could find her, she would have had it all. She would have had it from at least 2 or 3 minutes in.
Wow. So is there anything we can do, or the viewers can do to assist in this situation?
It's it's a matter of being concerned. I don't want anybody to give me their last. It's more so about becoming aware of what the situation is and how this is happening on a daily basis. They could justify however they want the excessive force or the brutality, but when you experience it, you'll never feel like what you're doing is enough for them to do some of the things that they've been doing. Since the incident, I've heard more stories about even worse situations than mine. And the fact that we hear at least one news story a day about something that's happening with the police, whether someone's being shot, someone's being beaten, someone's being shocked or tasered. If you just look into the amount of cases of people who've actually died from being tasered and stunned by the police, it will blow your mind.
Right.
I know we're spending a lot of time doing some things that aren't necessarily productive towards our lives, but this is one situation where it's scary. It's scary, and while I was being held, I couldn't even tell you how many stories I heard about people who actually were taken from their homes and arrested. So you're not even safe in your house from being taken from your home and not informed about why you're even arrested. This is I think the manner in which the whole thing was conducted was questionable. It's how someone could be with someone who could have allegedly have done something and how they handle you based off of your affiliation. Like, I can't justify using excessive force on me when I was in search for a weapon. My hands were in plain view. I asked a question that I'm allowed to ask. I'm allowed to ask why I need to step out of a vehicle. And the story says that I was being forcibly removed from my vehicle. How could I be removed from a vehicle while I'm still sitting in my seatbelt? It's just I don't understand, and I strive to understand. I think that everybody should strive to understand what's happening around them, how they can stop these things from happening, what they can do to get with people who want to stop these things from happening.
Right. Are there any organizations that are helping to stop police brutality that you are working with?
Right now, I am working with the New Black Panther Party to bring not only political awareness to the city of St. Louis, but to also figure out how best to handle these situations that are occurring with the police departments. Because if we don't step up as the New Black Panther Party and supporters of the New Black Panther Party, if we don't step up and help each other, it's going to continue to happen. Another organization that is interested in having any support at all. There are another one. There are quite a few actually. The UAPO is one organization that is also bringing awareness to the African American plight. Sabaye Community Center. They're working very diligently, all hours of the night, 24/7, to not only help here in St. Louis City, but also in efforts across seas in Africa. So, and in addition to Sabaye, there's a new African Paradigm Study Group, and they're trying to bring awareness to a little bit of everything. They just had a lecture with Dr. Umar Johnson talking about school systems and what's happening with our children, our youth. So it's a matter of just really digging deep and figuring out why are you here. We look at each other, we see each other, and we talk about it, but we don't do anything about it. And these groups are here, and they need your support. And we just need to do what we can.
What do you think we as a people need to make this stop happening so randomly and freely?
2 words: wake up. Wake up. I I wasn't in the Walmart having a disturbance. I wasn't fighting in the Walmart. I wasn't stealing out the Walmart. I was sitting in the parking lot in a car. I mean, just let that sit in. And I spent 2 nights in jail. You know, and was fine. I don't have any money. You know, don't have any money to work with. And a lot of us are working, are living from paycheck to paycheck. Don't have investments. Aren't even thinking about getting into a legal situation where they would have to come out of pocket. Might lose their homes. Might even lose your children. When you get locked up and it takes days away from you throughout the week, you can't work, you lose your job. Don't let it be when your rent is due.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it can totally turn your whole world upside down. And don't wait until it happens. Do something about it. Do something about it first. I wish we thought about having a lawyer on retainer to handle these types of situations as they come, but that's like a luxury at this point.
Wow. That's true indeed. Well, miccheckglobal definitely supports you. You know what I'm saying?
I just have one question. What do you think Black women in particular need to do about this?
I cannot predict what a woman will do in a situation like mine. Luckily, I had my head about me, and I didn't react to the situation. I responded to the situation, because I'm sure had I been in another place, kicking and fighting probably might have been the first thing on my mind to do to defend myself. But it's realizing that you have rights and you have to exercise those rights, but you have to do it in a way where they cannot hit you with anything. And if they do, that you will have the evidence to support you and to make sure that what you did was the right thing to do. Had any of the stories that have been released against me been true, as far as these allegations, I couldn't sit here before you and be like anything, because these are the charges against me, and if that was what I did, then that's what I did, you know. And would it have still been right? No, not at all. It would not have still been right, and it's still a cause for concern. But it's just it's getting worse and worse, realizing that they're investigating a story where a woman allegedly attempted to bite a police officer. There are more serious things going on a regular basis. Children being abducted. I mean, houses being broken into, women being raped. Why is this under investigation? You know, so for Black women in particular, it's looking at the situation and realizing that what you do is going to affect you. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. They mean it. You don't have to talk to them about anything. You don't have to say anything to them. If they ask you questions, you can politely refuse to comment. Ask for your lawyer. Just keep your head about you. Keep a cool head on your shoulders. It's an extreme situation. Don't panic. Don't panic. Take a deep breath. And believe that things are going to be okay.
So that's like your advice to some people who might have, or who might go through things like this, to not panic, because they can make the situation worse.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It takes a lot of discipline and willpower, you know, to do that.
Can we talk about your children?
Sure. What do you want?
Did you talk to them about this at all? And what advice do you have for other mothers who need to talk to their children about what's going on?
Well, I was fortunate to have made arrangements that night, so my children were with me, and they did not have to bear witness to the whole situation. I'm sure that it would have scarred them. It would have been it was traumatic for me. I shake when I tell the story, so I can imagine how it would have affected them to see their mom be treated in that manner.
And I'm sure you would have actually done some damage if your children were there with you.
I mean, I would like to have seen them see me comply with the officers. I would not want to promote violence towards anyone. I mean, granted, the situation probably would have been a lot more extreme to me because of the presence of my children. And if anything, sitting here before you, I probably would have done the exact same thing, but I would be that much more on 10 about it, because that's just, hurting me is one thing, but to leave a lasting scar memory in my child's mind of seeing this type of thing happen to their parent is just, it's sickening. It will sicken you. You never know what kind of effect this trauma may have on your child come years to pass. So it's like, oh my God. I would be seeking, I'm like, not just, we don't want to just get justice for what's happening today. We want to get justice for what's going to happen in the future. When a situation like this happens and the kids are like, now they're grown and they've been conditioned to be like, oh no, this can't go down. Like, my mom went through this. This is not something that we're about. We gotta, like, who knows what kind of reaction it could breed later on. And that would be, oh God. It's children who are dealing with those types of situations on a regular basis, and I can't imagine.
So what would you recommend parents say to their children when teaching them about things that happen and how you can kind of move around it, or like you said, not react to the situation, but respond to the situation?
No, our kids are smart. I mean, if there's one thing I know, every child I meet is extremely bright. I think they're taken for granted because they are children, and people don't really respect a child's opinion about a situation. We never know how they might take it. They might try to understand what happened. They might be okay with what happened, and want to just go back to playing with their toys or whatever, however old they are, whatever they do. But I think it's important for it to be talked about. I think it's important that a child does have an understanding, especially if they are visibly suffering from seeing it, and you can tell that they have a ton of questions for you, but they're afraid to ask you because they don't know how you're going to react to it. It's just, and sometimes it feels good to get it out. And even though kids might not understand the full impact of what's happening, they don't understand charges, they don't understand court and fines and lawyers and what lawyers do and all of that, but there are means of support and they will be there for you. And so I'm just glad that my kids are really great in that area, because they understood and they're okay. They're with us.
That's great. Anything you want to say to the viewers out there to let them know what's going on before we get up out of here?
I just want to say thank you for allowing me this opportunity to talk to you all about what happened with me. And I trust that you all will not follow the propaganda that's being said against us. We are respectful people who are law-abiding, who have not been in a situation like this before. Neither one of us have records, and it's just phenomenal to have the support that we've been given since March 15th. We do have a fundraiser going right now that's helping us pay for our lawyers' fees and also keeping us afloat with him being suspended from his job because of the charges that he's facing as well. So it's a huge amount of gratitude that I have for the people who are concerned and who have shown their support, and to the people who this story has touched and who is concerned. Please feel free to contact me and let me know how you feel about what's going on, and if you have any other questions about how you can become more involved or how you can get more information on what you can do to in the event that something like this happens to you, or just to even let somebody know who constantly is involved with police interactions, what they can do in order to safeguard themselves, because it's at a point where we don't know what's going to happen and why these arrests are happening without a reason, and it can be alarming, and we need to stay calm, and we need to strategize and work together in order to make sure that we can support and take care of each other.
That's definitely. Well, we thank you for sharing your story, and Miccheck Global is definitely 100% behind what you're doing, and we're definitely going to have more people hearing this story, and definitely going to be supporting.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.